Hello guys, welcome to the machine learning mindset. In this tutorial I'm going to talk about the Python classes or objects. So technically Python is an object oriented programming and everything is in object, everything is in object and can be represented as objects. So the very basic way of defining a class is just using the class method, which is let's say my class as let's define a variable or string str. It's by itself, we can't use it, so let's just use string equal to hi welcome to the machine learning mindset. So here we just initiated the class, which is somehow an object, and we simply defined it here. But the thing is, we have not created that class yet. Same as function, we need to call that class. We call it my class, and now we initiated the object. As you can see, it's the object. But we want to put the object somewhere. Let's define my object as this. So this my object is technically the defined object as we had previously. So the specific way of treating that thing is that we do know that we define something called str here. So how we are going to take that str? So we have the my object class initiated there, and it has something called str1. As you can see, the Google Colab is simply offering it to us. So what are you going to get there? So you simply can see using the object dot the specific variable that we define in the function can give us whatever we define inside the function. So this is a way of having access to the function. But we are going to dig more into the classes. I'm going to start with the init function. There is a function called init, which all the classes have, and it's technically executed something anytime that we just initiate the class. So it is called like this. I define the class, like class my class. I define the init function. We have two underline, init again, two underline, and open. It is going to, well, don't panic, it's very simple, although it has a more complicated way of definition instead of Python functions, but it is something that you need to know. I'm trying to cover it with the very basic stuff. So the init function always start with an argument called self, and later on we define the other things, like for example let's call it an argument, the welcome sentence, for example, and this is going to be a specific argument. So to initiate that argument, we have to use self again. We use self dot name of the argument equal to the argument. So here we technically bring the argument that we defined in the init and make it a self dot that argument, so it can be accessible through the whole class. And this is something that we are going to use later frequently. But as of now, you would see the class is defined in a way using the init function. As simple as that. So all you need to know is how to use the self. So we are going to use the same approach above. Define my object is my class. But now, as we have the self function, we have to use some different kind of stuff. Let's just run it this way to see what Python gives us. So see, it says init function missing one required variable, because here we have some specific variable in the init. So it says in the body of the object we need something called welcome sentence. So we need something as the input of the object to initiate the object. So the welcome sentence can simply be welcome to machine learning mindset, for example. And now if we run it, we see, so it just executed very easily and without any error. So now we want to have access to specific things that we defined in the object. Let's just print. So we do have our object dot the things that we define inside the function, which is the welcome sentence. And we simply can print it. So if we don't use this specific line, I'm just commenting it. Let's just run it to see what's gonna happen. See? So it needs something to be passed when we're using the welcome. But let me just eliminate that thing so you can't just make it empty. So we just pass there because we don't want to do anything with the function. We can use pass. And here let's just run it. And here let's just print it. So it says my object class has no attribute welcome sentence. You know why? Because we eliminated self here. We must have the self here to make sure the init has something. Let's just continue. Again, as you can see, just simply have access to it. So this is the most important things that you need to know to initiate the object, and it's technically mostly used way of defining the classes. So functions can have methods. So methods are functions, classes can have methods, and methods are functions inside classes. After init, we just initiate the my class with the specific init function. Let's just define something called a function called, for example, print name function. And this print name function is a specific method inside the class. So as the argument, what we have to use. So this is a subtle difference between the methods in the class, which are functions, than the regular function. We have to use self to flag it as the function, as the object methods. Let's print some specific thing. For example, print the welcome message is. So now what we're gonna put here, we have welcome sentence. Don't forget that we have to use the self here, otherwise without which it doesn't have many meanings. So let's just continue, and here we are going to again initiate the object. Now we have our object, but let's print here. So it means I use the object. Let me use the method. So here the method is simply print name function, and I don't need to use any argument because this method doesn't have any argument, otherwise I had to use it. So when I just try to print it, as you can see, the welcome message is welcome to machine learning mindset. So it is very simple way of using functions. But let's say I have one argument here in the function. Now I'm going to use the object. Here I should get an error, see? Because it says this print method has one required positional argument. So you should ignore self in terms of not counting the argument. This is the first argument. We just need to use self, as I previously mentioned, that this method is a part of the body of this class. And now we have to input something. For example, let's put John here. And here this argument is welcome to machine learning mindset. and we don't need to do anything with that. And this John is technically nowhere because here we have not used this argument. We can just print it again. Let's just print it here. So I just customize the print somehow that is welcoming the John. So it says welcome to machine learning mindset John. We just added the argument here. So I believe this was pretty much the majority of the things you need to know to understand the body of the classes. So for sure you need more practice to be able to implement those things, and I covered the most basic stuff as I mentioned. This is the goal of this video, so feel free to ask questions by commenting below if you had any. I will be happy to address them all, and to stay tuned for more advanced tutorial, just please subscribe and make sure to ring the bell, so you stay tuned, because without ringing the bell, even if you subscribe, so it doesn't technically send you the notification. And I hope you enjoyed it. So don't panic about the Python classes. They are commonly used in Python and they are very simple to use. I personally, when I want to make my tutorial simple, I'm not going to use the Python classes in general, but those are definitely something that you need to know. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. See you later.